Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and in some cases, good night, world. This is the Soul Advisor from www.souladvisor.com, coming at you live right now. Obviously, this is going to be recording when you hear it, but for me, it is live right now, and I am just ecstatic to be able to produce another podcast for everybody. Now that my semester is done with my schooling, I will be able to do this on a more consistent basis, regularly, so that hopefully I can just keep pushing out everything that I want to talk about, everything that comes in through souladvisor.com, so that we can all sit, talk, discuss many different things. A lot of the souladvisor.com submissions, we can talk about on the radio, or AKA this podcast, so that we can, get the movement going, because not only in America, but in many countries across the world, there are people that keep it all inside. They don't express themselves appropriately or as much as they need to. And that is something that I believe during this podcast we can discuss. That is why I named it Believe in Yourself. And I don't just mean that for believing in yourself so that you can talk about something. Lord knows everyone needs a shoulder to cry on from time to time. That's what souladvisor.com was created for. That's why I'm here. Not just to do it all by myself, but to allow other people to connect with other people, to have a positive impact on the world. So, this Believe in Yourself podcast is exactly that. It's a discussion, albeit one-sided discussion, because it's just me talking today. I would love to be able to have people connect with me via this podcast. We'll time it out, and I can call them. We can record it, our discussions together, our conversation, to spark even more ideas, because the more minds come together, the more ideas, the more brainstorming happens. And I am a firm believer in the fact that everyone has a voice, not just in their head, but it needs to come out and communicate with another person in some way. Maybe, through the various different forms of communication, sign language, just different languages in general, writing it out. Facebook, Twitter are awesome for this. My facebook.com/souladvisor1. My Twitter handle is the same thing, @souladvisor1. Please connect with me on either of those networks, because the more we get connected to each other, the more we can solve the world's problems, so to speak. It's very important that we all know that we're not alone in this journey of life on this earth, this plane of existence. We are all connected to each other. In my belief, every living thing is connected to every other living thing through some force, some life energy. We are all connected. So what good does it do us to stay separate from another living thing or person? What good does it do us to not foster that connection to someone else? What good does it do us to barricade ourselves away from society or every other living thing? And you all know that answer is very simple, right? There is no reason why we should be so disconnected with the world around us. And I think some of it has to do with technology. Everyone always is quick, and it's easy to blame technology. And technology was designed to bring us closer, i.e. Facebook and Twitter, and yet has actually secluded us from one another. And I don't know, I just watched this movie recently, and that's probably why some of this train of thought is coming out, but that movie Transcendence with Morgan Freeman and Johnny Depp, where this man is able to, he's dying, and he's able to put his consciousness inside of a supercomputer. And therefore he is able to access, once they connect him to the internet, all this information, of course, and able to analyze it all and use it for the benefit of mankind. And he actually creates nano robots to go in and heal people. So people that don't have arms or legs regrow arms and legs through the nanobots and technology and whatever else. However, having these nanobots inside of them also creates a link back to Johnny Depp's character, who is the supercomputer, and all the other people, the regular people in the world, the humans, see it as him creating a super army, basically, since they can heal themselves. They're indestructible, and they take commands just from him. He is able to override their free will and have them do as he wishes. And he is not malicious in it, in the movie. It could be malicious. However, he is just trying to create a world that his wife had wanted, where people heal themselves and nobody gets hurt, nobody dies, and plants can be regrown, and basically healing the world and our society and other animals. And everyone sees it as a huge threat. But in the end, they realize, oh, he wasn't a threat, he was trying to help, and we overreacted, blah, 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 blah. And with that being said, it's amazing how they were able to connect his consciousness to the computer. And of course, that's technology. I don't think that's anywhere near our future, not at least in my lifetime, I don't believe. But in others, that may be a possibility. In my son's or my grandchildren's lives, that may be a possibility. As long as we don't destroy the world first, which is sad that I even have to say that. But off topic there. Going back to believing in yourself, we have segregated ourselves immensely using Facebook and Twitter, and we feel more confident and comfortable expressing our own views and opinions on Facebook, Twitter, and any other social networking site or any other website that there is basically out there that we can comment upon. And there are quite a few out there that you can comment upon. One that I know of is freeconfessional.com, where you can go there and confess anything, from I stole my sister's cookie to, I fell down a flight of stairs, nobody's seen me, so I just got up and dusted myself off and kept on going. Whatever it is you need to confess. But I think that comfortability and that confidence that we have behind the computer screen really has taken over the place of our actual confidence and comfortableness, I guess, with speaking to an actual person. We have really become more introverted as a society in relation to face-to-face communications, whereas Facebook and Twitter and any other social media that I'm forgetting, we've really become more extroverted, and being able to put out our opinions, our thoughts, our ideas, because we don't have that initial criticism, that initial judgment from someone else through their facial expressions, or their hand movements, their voice intonation, inflection, volume, things like of that nature. We don't see that immediately. So we feel safer to communicate by putting something out there. Now, when we do have criticism on like let's say a post or a status update or something on Facebook or Twitter, and we receive criticism for it, we have the ability to just delete that comment. A lot of people don't, which makes for some funny things to read on other websites that are, they screen capture those comments, those replies. It makes it quite funny because people will sit and debate and, defend their original post, which they should be allowed to. I mean, here in America, this is a free country where we have the freedom of speech. Whether it is written or it is verbal, we have the right to speak it. And there shouldn't be any debate about that right. That is a right that we have living here in America, is the freedom of speech. There should be no debate about if we can say something or not. Now, if it's offensive, the other person has the option to ignore it, to delete their own connection to that person, or just stop receiving notifications from that person. There are a lot of controls out there on those websites that allow us to be able to block or stop seeing comments, things of that nature. But as the original poster, you have the right to speak freely about your beliefs, about your thoughts. And in doing so, you are exercising your right to freedom of speech. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that at all. It is very much encouraged, from my point of view, to say the very least, that everyone takes a moment and let freedom ring. Because without freedom, our society here in America it's not really worth being here if we don't have our freedoms, if we don't have our inalienable rights as a human being. No one should have that control over us where we can't say what we think or what we feel. Now, if it's offensive to someone, that's a different story. We can say what we think or we feel as long as we are mature and appropriate about it. You can't just go flying off the handle with a bunch of cuss words. If you're angry, say that you're angry, why you're angry, and what you want the other person to do about it. It's simple like that. But a lot of times we don't believe in ourselves enough, and that's what causes us to bottle up so many thoughts and feelings. Our emotions are just so much kept inside because we know we can release those things on Facebook or on Twitter and have someone else agree with us. And that is a really good feeling that a lot of people strive for, is to get the likes on Facebook or the favorites on Twitter, or to get retweeted is a big thing too. And to me, as long as you genuinely agree with it, that's great. If you agree with the idea of it, that's good too. But if you don't agree with it at all, and you have a comment for it, you have the right to comment. Just don't get nasty about it. You have to believe in yourself enough to know when to be appropriate and how to be appropriate. And with that, I'm going to kind of move into the actual believing in yourself part, because some of the fear, some of the anger that stems from some of the ideas that others present to us, that fear is what will spark the anger. And we don't even realize it sometimes. It's how angry we can get over someone's comment. Sometimes they're just blatantly, like that. Other times we really have to look at it like, why are they doing that? And kind of break it down a little bit. But we shouldn't have to always, but we really do have to look and communicate and connect with someone else. And connecting isn't just looking at them and then you automatically connect with them. It's more of actually listening. But the first thing we have to do in order to listen to someone else is we have to listen to ourselves. We have to be connected with the person that we are. We have to believe in ourselves, that we have the confidence to stand up for ourselves. We have the tenacity to not back down, the perseverance to get through whatever we need to get through. There are so many countries at war right now, and so many children that are homeless, that have lost their families, so many children that have lost their lives. They haven't had the opportunity or the role models to show them how to believe in themselves, how to have confidence in themselves, how to be the best person that they can be. Their role models were gunned down. Their role models were taken from them. So they grow up living in a world where they've been taught this violence. They've been shown this violence. They've been victims of the violence. They have no belief in themselves, or they have very misguided beliefs in themselves. And that's our future generation. Now, here in America, we have blinders on to a lot of the violence overseas. Our children have blinders on because it's very negative. It doesn't need to be negative, but our society at this moment, this point in time, doesn't understand how to resolve disagreements and arguments and conflicts without the use of violence. The person that has the most guns and the most bombs wins. A one-on-one fight, it's the bigger person, the person that has the better moves, the stronger punches or kicks, are the people that win. There doesn't even need to be a fight in the first place, but that's where our society goes to. It's such a primal instinct to hurt someone else when we think we have been hurt by them. Sometimes it's a simple miscommunication. You look at this incident that happened a couple of weeks ago in Ferguson, where this teenage boy was gunned down after an altercation with a police officer. And it saddens me to know that that is the way that incident took place, and that young man lost his life. A lot of the people have already taken it to a racial issue because the town is 90% black, African American, and the 10% of whites, Caucasian people that live there are the ones that basically run the city, or they run the town. And I hate that it's gotten to the point where it's so base that they've made it a racial issue, because you look at some of these facts, and I already know every time a new fact comes out or a new video is released or a new person comes to step up, that it's already been tainted. Whatever it is that they want to say or that they want to show is tainted in the fact that the news agency that reports on it is biased. And not all the news is shown. Not all the facts are really given. Even the people that were there, within minutes, their memory distorts what actually happened. That's just the way it is. You record it on a video camera, and then that, you know, is completely objective evidence to what happened, but it's bits and pieces of information here and there. And I think that if enough people were to let go of that anger sooner and have the confidence in themselves to know that things will be taken care of appropriately, and enough confidence in their government that things would have gotten taken care of appropriately without the use of SWAT being there all the time or the National Guard mobilizing in that area, because they were basically protesting and rioting for a week or so. And it's finally calmed down now. But that one incident in that one town made national news. There's been a few other incidences that haven't quite made national news because they haven't rioted and protested nearly as hard as Ferguson has. And that perseverance and tenacity that the city of Ferguson has for standing up for whatever happened just goes to show how much they do believe in themselves, but not so much in their government, not so much in the people that run their city, not so much in the people that are sworn that it is their duty to protect the citizens of Ferguson. One of those made the choice to shoot an unarmed teenage boy, 18 years old, 6 times, twice in the head. And I don't know why he made that choice. I don't know what guided him to do that, but I can tell you that through that action, other people are taking notice at the literal police state that some of our cities are in. It's needed in some cities, like Chicago or Detroit, that have massively high crime rates, but only to the point where it is absolutely necessary. If the crooks or bad guys are shooting first, then I see the cops, I say the cops have the option to return fire. But if one criminal is unarmed and one cop has the gun, I don't see how it justifies him using it, in my opinion. But that's not for me to decide. I'm not the judge, not on the jury or whatever if they decide to take this to court. But I just wanted to point that out because that has been a huge thing that has happened in America that's made national headlines. I wanted to address that. And it kind of plays into the fact of believing in yourself, because I don't think that either of the men, the people that were involved, really understood what was happening. I think it was one of those incidences that got out of control and got carried away and escalated to the point where they didn't have the confidence, they didn't believe in themselves enough to de-escalate the situation appropriately as far as the cop side and as far as the victim's side. He could have chosen to not, they're saying that he resisted arrest and was having an altercation with the cop. I mean, both choices were bad, one worse than the other. I think that given the fact that a lot of people don't want to go to jail because it's not the fun place to be, but our society continues to put more and more people there. And we keep escalating the punishment and keep finding more ways to punish others. And in a certain way, we as a people punish ourselves. And some of that happens to do with the fact with us not believing in ourselves. So we have to be able to take what we know on the inside and appropriately let it out. And one way that I want everyone listening to try to increase your belief in yourself is simply to give yourself 3 compliments every day. You don't have to stand in front of a mirror and say, I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and gosh darn it, people like me. Some of you that have watched SNL in the past understand that reference. It's not what I'm asking for, though. I want you to compliment yourself 3 times a day. At least 3 times a day. Narcissist, you might do more. But ultimately, 3 times. And it doesn't have to be, like I had said, you look in a mirror right when you wake up and say those specific 3 things. You can do that. You can say 3 things that you like about yourself. Just do it every day for a week. And see how your confidence level, how your belief in yourself will rise. Because it needs to rise. As a whole, our entire society's belief in themselves should rise up. And we should all feel better about ourselves. One of my things, and I'm going to tell you this, I've spoken about it before in other podcasts, is that I'm overweight. 50-60% of America is overweight, and I'm one of those 50 to 60%. And I do stuff to try to not be overweight, but I don't have that motivation to keep myself going because I don't have the belief in myself that I deserve to lose weight, or that I deserve to be skinnier or thinner or less heavy. That's something that I have to work on. So when I skip a snack, that's one of my things. I compliment myself on, I don't always say, oh, good job for skipping that snack, but, that I can say it in different ways. Like, that helped me, not gain a little extra weight at least. So it doesn't always have to be like, good job on this or nice job on that. Be proud of yourself for accomplishing a little goal. If you didn't have a snack and you're overweight, and you'll be like, well, that's good of me to not have that snack. I feel better about myself for not making, not having that snack or making it or whatever. I'm proud of myself. We can be proud of everybody else, but it's hard for us to be proud of ourselves. Think about that. In the last couple of minutes here, I want you to really think about one compliment that you can give yourself before this last 2 minutes are up. You don't have to give it to yourself. You don't have to say it out loud. Say it in your head. I'm really good at sweeping the house or cleaning the kitchen or helping the neighbor kids when they come by with their fundraiser stuff. Or, it was really nice of me this morning to let someone cut in front of me and I didn't have road rage, or whatever it is. Think about something that you've done just in today's time frame. I mean, it's about 1 o'clock, 1:30 here where I'm at, and by the time this goes up, it'll be close to 2 and everything. So you've got plenty of time that you can think of that you've been able to do something. Think of something that is positive that you've done. Compliment yourself on it. Believe in yourself enough to accept the challenge of complimenting yourself 3 times every day for the next week that you're listening to this. From now until next week. And I'm going to do another podcast, and I'm going to call on everyone to post if they were able to make it or not. And that is all of the time I have for today. I am going to sign off and saying, I really wish the best for you all. Love, light, and blessings to everybody. Please, please take the message of believing in yourself. Take it to heart. Really put the effort into saying your 3 positives a day and see how it changes you. See how the interactions change between you and everybody else in the world. It'll be amazing. It will astonish you. Trust me. And with that, I wish you all a good day.